Okay, we're going to be coming in spectating this Scrim game here. We see some very common B1 picks being banned away on this red side. Unara and Pantheon, obviously, quite potent in the meta at the moment. We'd expect to see a Rumble possibly as the third ban. Corki will be the final ban for the blue side, as Ambessa is the first pick. So Ambessa will be the first pick here, as Viego coming out relatively quickly here. Now, blue side bans, we do see Scion, Mel, and Renekton, so they're a little bit worried about that top side. A little bit like focus on trying to get the top laner a decent pick in this game. But Lucian will be the second pick here coming through. Apologies, I'm just trying to get something sorted out. We're trying to get into the actual draft of the spectators. Jhin will be the response here, looking to be a little bit more of a utility in that bot lane. And Kha'Zix. Right, now that all of that is sorted, we see a very common combination here. Lucian Braum being picked up on this red side as Soraka the first ban here. Very, very interesting to see. They're choosing to ban away Enchanters. Is there going to be the ban on blue as a Karma ban comes through? So, Jhin has the common partners of potentially the Alistar could come out, but there's also some interesting picks that they could take. They could potentially take Swain here. Swain would be a decent pick into this current combination of Lucian Braum. Jack's going to be the final ban here, as that's a third top laner being taken off of the Rift. We will see what will be the R4 pick here. You'd expect it to possibly be the top laner, as they've already shown the Ambessa, more so seeking priority in that form of Lucian, Braum, and the Viego. So I'd expect to see the top laner be picked here. If they pick the mid laner, they'd be kind of showing their hand a little bit too much. Or they could potentially pick something that flexes. A Galio would be an interesting pickup. Or that Rumble is still very much open. We saw a Rumble earlier on, as it's going to be Brand. Brand most likely going mid, which is a little concerning. Potentially, though, it could be a Viego going into lane. So we'd expect to see something very, very interesting going down here. And Viego and a Brand picked up. That Brand could, of course, be jungle, could also be mid, could potentially be top as well. Highly doubt it, but Poppy is the pick, looking to shut down the Viego and the Lucian. No dashes for you. Braum also going to have a much harder time of being able to W around. Now that can go either top, it can go support, could potentially go mid, but I think it's more likely going support at this moment. Which brilliant into the bot lane, allows Jhin to be able to chain CC with his W, and obviously using the Keeper's Verdict to be able to just fully stop any kind of engagement is crucial. Now though, Talia will be the last pick. Again, punishing those dashes and the immobile carry of the Brand. Now we will find out here, where is things going? Could this be a Viego mid? Could it be a Viego top even? Could it just be Brand in the mid lane? Or potentially something even worse, Braum top. Why not? Let's see it. But we'd be expecting to see something a little bit more conventional here as the last pick. Expecting to see a top laner as 5 seconds remaining. Is it going to be something like the Rumble? Is it going to be Malphite? So that tells it that this is either Brand or Viego mid. So we are going to be finding out very shortly what is going to be the case. In the meantime, we're going to be needing to wait for the spectator delay on the League of Legends client. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we have arrived into the game. TFG against BEBNIAZE. And if I am butchering that name, I do apologize. And speaking of butchering names, this will most likely be a butcher of most things. I did try and research what the names would be if I tried to say them in my native tongue, so I will try my best, but mistakes will always happen. Now, as we see going on to the Rift, it is going to be the Viego mid into the Talia, so expecting to see some heavy trading early on, ranged into melee matchup in mid, as we do have a Malphite into the Ambessa. Already trying to apply some nice pressure. Yoon, the man who invited me here, the individual who thought to give me a chance. As we're going to see some movement onto mid lane here. Braum and Lucian going to be going in. Kha'Zix is in the mix there, as Viego going to be looking to try and claim the kill. Lucian will claim the first blood. Viego gets the possess onto the Kha'Zix as Malphite is here to join. Slonyu going to be picking up the first blood here, as I need to quickly adjust those two around to make things cohesive. Already an early kill onto Swag, as Slonyu going to pick up a decent chunk of gold. Not going to take the back, not going to try and buy anything like the boot or the cloth armor, as we're seeing Yoon going in on the Kendrick Lamar in mid lane on the Viego, as Ugandan Shorty now going in onto Braum. Going to be landing the Q, going to be trying to do as much poach damage as possible. Of course, both these supports want to sort of wait till level 2 to be a little bit more interactive. Obviously, Lucian very much needs that dash to be able to maximize the number of autos, but Braum does make it much, much easier, as that passive stack, especially after the Winter's Bite. If it does connect, can connect, but here comes the Jhin. Root in place. Barrier going to be popped by Slonyu. That kill already coming in impactful, as Dodoman will pop the heal as well, as Pingun will be stunned here. As overall, in terms of health, it's going to be an even trade, but here comes everything, as Uganda Shorty will pick up the kill onto Slonyu. Now, Donman next in line. Ugandan Shorty really just knocking him back, as Yoon having to back off slightly. Viego Spectral Maw going to connect. Looking to deal a decent chunk as the fight carries on. Conqueror letting Kendrick Lamar heal up here, as Davidek already moving away from top lane. Teal Moon very much setting up the wave as he likes it. Is down in CS, but not by much. Only by 3 minions, which I think are already available and waiting, as we see here Trust Vonska, who I'm probably just going to call Trusk for the time being, just to save my breath, or Brand. But already seeing some decent movement in terms of how the lanes are playing out. Now, this top lane matchup is very difficult for Ambessa. The Malphite did come out as a sort of pocket pick at the end, and Davidek is going to make sure that Teal Moon does not last long. Winter's Bite does connect onto Pingun. Slonyu not going to try and take the opportunity to collapse, as Teal Moon does the exact opposite, looking to get as much damage as possible. The Grasp of the Undying, trying to stack it up as much as possible against the Comet. But nothing out of the ordinary just yet. Level 6 is still very much over the horizon, as a little bit of an extended trade here. Teal Moon deals a significant amount of damage. Poppy will be stunned by the Winter's Bite, falling low. Ugandan Shorty has to back away. Second Winter's Bite will not connect. Penguin with the 4-shot loaded, just looking to try and back off, as Slonyu goes in potentially for the dash on to the Poppy here, but will end up getting rooted, getting stunned into the wall. Braum now going to be using that shield to block the damage, but Ugandan Shorty will be taken down early. Triumph procs. Evolution has regenerated up too much health, and it's going to be Feats of Warfare claimed as Pingun falls. Donman will pick up that kill. That's too many Ds, but 3 kills to the name, 3 Ds in the name. And the attempt is all in vain, as here comes Kendrick Lamar onto Yoon. Going to be able to land the Spectral Maw into the Blade of the Rune King. Not going to be able to claim the kill, though. Teal Moon now shoving in Davidek, who is low on mana. Will have to reset, but does have that TP available. We see here Ugandan Shorty looking to try and potentially land a gank on Kendrick Lamar, as Trusk is hovering around this top side. The Ambessa going to be dropping low, unaware of the Brand's location. Will be hit by the Pillar of Fire, but not going to be able to connect the stun. Flashing away, but into the Brand W. Will he be able to get out alive? Gonna try and run away now. Has to try and proc the shield. Brand is gonna flash forward, but here comes Kha'Zix. Kendrick Lamar is the first to fall, but Braum, it might be soon to follow. Will have to flash away to save himself. Almost getting knocked back by the Talia push. And Swag coming in quite clutch in that mid lane, taking down Kendrick Lamar after Yoon drops very low on mana. And now TP's used in top lane by Teal'Moon. Did flash, but Brand flashed in response as Lonyu gonna be taking a nice little trade against Pingun here. Not really able to respond as the Jhin, whenever he's reloading, very much on the weaker side as the Winter's Bite will connect, and Braum is deciding that now is the time the stun will connect as Lucian drops him low. Barrier will be popped, but the root comes through to stop any further action. And now both members of this blue side bot lane going to be dropping quite low, but Teal'Moon looking to potentially take down Davidek. It's excruciating trying to fight this Malphite in top as just so much natural bulk. Winter's Bite does connect onto Ugandan Shorty, who might have overstayed here, but here come the Weaver's Wall. Onto Kendrick Lamar goes Kha'Zix as Trusk will take down the Talia with the burners. Swag is next in line. Going to be popping the Void Assault, but Ambessa is here with the public execution. Kendrick Lamar will fall. The Viego is sent back. As Trusk will just back off. Not going to be able to follow up much more. Meanwhile, Ugandan Shorty did survive in bot lane. Has a nice fourth drop connection on to Slonyu. And the Lucian has no mana here. The Lucian could potentially be in line to fall as the exhaust comes through. Root does land onto the Braum. He's one shot away from being dead. The second shot connects, but it's not enough. The barrier comes in to protect him as Malphite going to be using the Unstoppable Force to connect onto the Ambessa. Brand is now here. The Pillar of Fire does connect and the burn is ticking. Teal'Moon will fall and it's currently 4-7 in favor of BEBNIAZE. And now with the Void Grubs spawning, Swag opting for the Drake takers. At the moment, that top side is looking very dangerous, and if we look at items at the moment, there's no real completed components, but we can see the sort of ideas that everyone's sort of going for. Jhin picking up that Serrated Dirk, intending to build into Collector, with Brand going Fated Ashes, obviously, for the Liandry's, but you're going to be caught out by Kendrick Lamar. The Spectral Ward's going to connect, but having to flash over the wall, Viego, as he sees the Poppy and the Kha'Zix. Now they're looking to disrupt the Brand here, but Malphite is just behind him. They will not allow the red side to claim all three grubs. They will neutralize one. But I mean, the sacrifice for this is, if you look, Swag has lots of camps up, but he has to make this rotation. Otherwise, the split push ability would be too insane. Pyroclasm will connect onto Swag here as he singularly queues. And Brand falls. I wasn't expecting that. All he has is a Serrated Dirk. Not even that, he has a Rectrix, a Dirk, and 2 longswords. So he's very much building in terms of AD. Most likely expect the Yumu's Ghostblade to come out first. Potential for the opportunity as well. Building some of that movement speed. Just help him move around the map a little bit more as he goes back to clearing his camps. As we see Teal'Moon, again, just looking to chip down this Malphite. Rock by rock. The mountain shall fall, and this Ambessa is eroding the stone. As we turn back into bot lane, not really much been going on down here, but Pingun level 7 has the 4-shot primed and ready. There is potential to want to have some form of fight. You can sort of feel the tension coming about, and it is looking fantastic. As going under the turret now, Teal'Moon. Not really able to dive the Malphite with the Unstoppable Force available. Can just sort of neutralize the attempt. Only thing that could potentially stop it is a very well-timed public execution from the Ambessa. As Lucian, culling available. Braum gonna look to try and land the Winter's Bite, hits it onto the Jhin, but Malphite just TPing back into the lane. Ambessa is very low, no Unstoppable Force needed, but the public execution will come out as Malphite might look to just ult him under the turret. Flash away, here it comes. And Teal'Moon will fall under his turret, and that's unfortunate timing. Just purchasing the Sunfire Aegis, but with the TP available, Teal'Moon has a chance to get back to stop this Malphite from getting out of hand. Now, just to give some kind of context here, you see Trusk is sitting on this bot side, does manage to root up the Lucian, so it stops any kind of involvement with enabling that Braum passive. Now, Curtain Call will be used very, very early on. Does connect a shot onto the Lucian. Here will be used by Braum and does manage to weave the shot just past and connect it onto Slenyu as Kendrick Lamar now the target of the Kha'Zix. One more Q will land it. Now back into bot lane. Glacial Fissure is going to be used. Keeper's Verdict sends back two. As the two lowest members, they seem to have gotten a freebie out of the fight as Brand manages to take down Ugandan Shorty, and Pingun is left all alone in bot as Twag looks to invade this topside jungle. Malphite is in the area. We just see the amount of utility used. We see the Pyroclasm, the Culling, and the Glacial Fissure all used by the side of BEBNIAZE. As Kendrick Lamar looking to take down Yoon will secure the kill with the assistance of the Brand. But Ugandan Shorty going to be able to connect as not much leading on to that. Public Execution not available to try and catch out Kendrick Lamar here. But it looks like the Don Man will find Swag on the Raptor Pit as again, just so much armor on that Malphite, making it impossible to trade. As dealing some nice chunk damage is Pingun. And this Comet is just making things so much worse for Teal Moon, not able to get a single kind of foot in. But Brand is here. Trusk and the Don Man. But the TP comes through from Ugandan Shorty, who will Hex Flash over the wall to look, try and catch them out. Yoon is here in the mix as well. Brand will flash early on in the fight. Pyroclasm connects through onto Ugandan Shorty. He will fall early on in the fight. Viego gets the possession now. Glacial Fissure will catch out Yoon. The Talia is on one side of the fight, but Pingun picks up the kill onto the Braum. Now looking for one more. Kha'Zix claims the pick onto Truskers. Lucian the next in line. Will they be able to pick it up? Pingun just claims it with the Curtain Call. The 4-shot is not going to be used as he's now running away from Kendrick Lamar, who is now under that turret. Has to be very, very careful as he is not built extremely tanky. He has the elements of Blade of the Rune King, but he has not bought his own sword. As first items now coming online, all except for that Ambessa in top lane, who is still sitting on the component. But as Viego will look to back, it's assumed to be he has the Blade of the Rune King available to purchase, as the Ambessa stuck in a spot where she just has to respect this Malphite. Does get into a position where they can invest some turret shots into the Mountain Man. But if we do look at the items, Yumu's Ghostblade has been picked up to assume for the Kha'Zix, as Seraph's going to be the first purchase for Yoon, looking to maybe get some extra survivability against the burst of this red side, as Poppy going to be the target of the Lucian Braum, but not going to be able to do much damage, as she has picked up the Locket of the Guy and Solari for some extra shielding, some counteractive burst. Now, little engagement from Davidek, looking to try and catch out Teal Moon. This Drake is up. Here comes Kendrick Lamar. Eyes on Pingun. Will he try and go for the engagement? Has the flash available. Pingun is flashless. There might be a fight before this Drake, but who will be the target? As now the reset's finally coming through for the Ambessa. Does he have the item? He does. The Eclipse is in. As the Herald has been spawned now. Teal Moon looking for a TP into the bot side, going behind the Viego. Will they be able to catch him off guard? The Shroud is going to be used, but he is spotted. He is caught out. Ambessa is on his tail. Will come through as the Public Execution knocks the Viego around. As Malphite sent back by the Keeper's Verdict, but the Brand and the Viego are already down. It's a 2-for-0 at the moment. It's a 5v3, and there's no low targets for the side of TFG, as they will just take their winnings and leave. There's not really too much they're interested in taking on from this, and Just a very nice TP into bot lane from Teal Moon, and now, where do you go from here? Lonyu and Doman thinking about taking this bot tier 1, but Pingun is under the mercy of Davidek. The Malphite is chasing down the Jhin as the unstoppable force comes through. Will he be able to root him under the turret? He is able to. Is he able to claim the kill? He flashes for it. Davidek will fall. Pingun, very well played, does pop the barrier, but it's in exchange for the Malphite's flash and ultimate, as Kendrick Lamar going to be taking a significant amount of damage from the Talia, but having to back off as the first turret in top lane will fall. An opportunity now picked up for Kha'Zix. Really looking to move around this map nice and quick, as this Lucian needs to be careful. While the public execution is not available, this Poppy at any moment could just dash in and try and catch him out, as here we go. It's the Winter's Bite catching onto Teal Moon that does break the camel's back, as they are both knocked very low, as the culling just not available, mere seconds away. And now we'll see 3 on bot side as the blue turret gets destroyed. And so far, this game has been quite even. It's only a 1k gold difference, despite the fact that 2 turrets up. But now, we see Kendrick Lamar going to try and come in onto Yoon, but he has Swag behind him. And the drip check, he fails. Kendrick Lamar falls. Yoon and Swag combining their forces to take down the Viego, but they know that something is coming. They see the Malphite walking into that tri-rush and just take their leave. Talia might control rocks, but this rock might be unstoppable. As we're back to a sort of neutral state. Teal Moon opting to stay in this bot lane and clear as clearing should be. The TP not available, but Yoon is ready to go. As we will begin to see second items coming through. Jhin going for the last whisper into Lord Dominic's regards or into that Mortal Reminder. Now, not too bad of an option, the Mortal Reminder, as you do see the Blade of the Rune King on the Viego. He has bought his own sword. But we shall see what happens. Of course, the Malphite massively stacking on the armor at the moment, does have the Sunfire Aegis and is building into what looks to be potentially Jack Show to just maximize the resistances here. As we're into a relatively quiet period now. But it's not going to be quiet for very long, as there is a public execution. Your public entertainment is available. The shield bow's not going to be enough as Swag takes down Kendrick Lamar, and Brand is here, but it's not in time. The Herald will come through. Shelly, do you need the license? As no, they're going to just let the Herald ram into the turret. No assistance, no escort. She will just be left to her own devices. That bot tier 1 will not fall, crucially, but it is within a hair of being taken down. Pingun and Lonyu going to be sort of trading base here, as the dash has been used by the Lucian, and here's Kha'Zix. There's no need to be isolated. You're already dead as the curtain call comes through, as the Braum does not have the shield available. Will he be able to get out? Does dodge the full shot of the curtain call, and the Kha'Zix cannot get the follow-up kill. Here comes Malphite in onto the Poppy. Ugandan surely just looking to posture that Malphite away. But Kha'Zix has other plans. Here comes the Poppy over the wall as she gets caught up by the Pillar of Fire. Malphite Unstoppable Force will be used as Poppy falls early on in the fight, but Malphite dropping incredibly low. Pingun's going to claim that kill. And meanwhile in bot lane, it's Kendrick Lamar against Teal Moon, as Kha'Zix will be caught out here, stunned by the Brand, but the Weaver's Wall is impeccable to stop the follow-up as Braum falls very low. The door will block the damage, and the Jin's W not going to quite claim the kill on that Braum. Excellent play from TFG. They do lose one member in the form of Ugandan Shorty, but I'm guessing you're happy with that, as the gold lead has now swung it. It's now 2k in advantage at 20 minutes in. And Atakan is available as that bot tier 1 falls. And we turn to look at items. You see here, Kha'Zix building in the Cyrilda's Grudge, as Jhin has picked up that Lord Dominic's Regards now. Poppy with the Swiftness Boot, and that still that Locket of the Iron Solari is kind of the sleeper of this game, has been Pingun, now with 5 kills on the board. Now TFG has done an absolutely fantastic job of protecting the Jhin here. What can BEBNIAZE do to try and combat this? As we do see Braum is now involved in this mid lane. Going to be looking to try and stun up the Poppy. Glacial Fissure will come down, will go wide. Pingun able to sidestep. As the Ambessa just trying to trade into this Malphite, but the armor might be too high as BEBNIAZE, I think that's how it's meant to be said. BEBNIAZE, like debonair's, but Beben. They are, I believe, a Polish team. And this Drake will be started up by them. They are looking to take this hard and fast, as that Mountain Drake will do wonders for the Malphite and make life a little bit harder for all this side of TFG, as the Drake will just be taken. Not really too much response in the way of a flip for the Drake in this time, as there's potential for a fight here. Unstoppable forces available. Kha'Zix is going to fight Doman, as the Braum is dropped very low, and Ambessa going to take him down. Keeper's Verdict was used by Ugandan Shorty. I believe it found the Malphite, but no knockback, just a knock up. As this is now all for the Atakan. There is going to be some blood first, as still, with 4 ultimate abilities available each side, as Kha'Zix might have overstepped here. The Unstoppable Force will come through and connect, as the target is now the Viego, who will drop incredibly low. The Public Execution catches him out as Ambessa looks to try and dash forward. We'll be able to catch him out. Yoon now teleporting forward with that flash. Going to be connecting on to the Malphite. Will fall thanks to the Jin's Deadly Flourishes. A flash over the wall. Pingun in the 1v1 against Slonyu with the barrier available. Both these ADCs. It's an extra large game of chicken, as the Deadly Flourish does not connect for the second time. Does Slonyu look for the re-engage, or do they just take their winnings and leave? As that's a deadly fight. Swag does fall early, but Yoon and Tealmoon able to simultaneously engage into that backline, take down the Viego, take down the Brand, and then Malphite is soon to follow thanks to the flash of Pingun. But the silent killer, Slonyu, able to just free fire onto the members of TFG. And BEBNIAZE trying to find a lifeline in this game. The gold deficit is just over 1,000 gold. That Drake is going to be huge. Malphite now with that Jack Show, with the upgraded boot as well. And we see some resistances coming through for the BEBNIAZE, as the Seeker's Arm Guard in the hands of Trusk, and also the plated steel caps for Kendrick Lamar. And the Braum as well, building Locket into those upgraded steel caps. Now, at the moment, the only objective coming up is this Baron in about 30 seconds. As Yumu's popped by Pingun, who has just built it. Meanwhile, they're looking for an engagement on to Davidek, who is going to use the Unstoppable Force out of the fight. We'll begin to move away, but here comes backup. Doman, Trusk, and soon to be Kendrick Lamar, who will get caught out by the Talia. Glacial Vision will come through, does not be out. He's not able to connect as the Public Execution comes down. Bramble falls very soon. Malphite now the target, as the Keeper's Verdict did nothing on the way, but the Curtain Call connects onto 2 as Viego falls to the Talia. It's a bloodbath, and TFG have not lost a single member, as Davidek will fall soon after. Braum, the last member, gonna have to flash over the wall, but Kha'Zix follows through and lands the isolated Q. As Slonyu, the last standing member, as there is an Atakan and a Baron in the potential for TFG at this moment. And what a well-executed fight, TPing the second they see that the Viego is trying to get involved, and forcing the Malphite to have to use, you know, the Unstoppable Force early. You never want to be doing that as Malphite, especially not into a comp that relies on their backline so heavily. But getting pulled out early on means that they don't have the front line of the Malphite. They're relying on this Braum, who is only level 10 at the moment. Look at Swag, level 16. Tilmoon, level 15. Yoon matches him. And this is a very quick Baron take. This is it. Baron will be taken, and now we shall see. Do TFG have what it takes to be able to close this game out as we go into the final third, it seems? We've had our mid-season conflict, and now Tilmoon looking to potentially get some solo glory, but it's going to be a 3v1, 4v1 if the Malphite wants to get involved. He's just a spectator as Tilmoon falls, and the Drake up in 40 seconds. Tilmoon will not be alive and will not have TP available for it, as Lucian will steal away at the blue buff, but Swag is not going to take it lying down. The culling will come through now, but dropping very low, as now Slonyu is also not going to be available for that Drake fight, which will be up just momentarily. 30 seconds. As that is not where you want to be. Slightly mispositioning greeting for the blue buff. As he does fall down, Swag, massive damage as the unbreakable, unstoppable force will come through onto Pingun. Keeper's Verdict is not able to connect as the barrier comes through. Pingun is at first to fall in the fight, able to catch him out. The combination of that unstoppable force and the Heartbreaker, Viego and Malphite making a brilliant combination to just isolate the ADC and take him down, as this Drake has now spawned. Selenu is back up. But Tilmoon is coming back in. This red side of BEBNIAZE just looking to clear this Drake as soon as possible. Down to 4k. As we see Swag, can he get in? He takes the Drake and he steals it away. The Mountain Drake goes to the side of TFG, and will he be able to get a consolation kill of the Braum? Not going to be able to, as he does fall, but it's all for the Drake, as Viego's able to detect the Talia in the bush. Public Execution not going to be able to connect, so Viego's able to step away, and the brand follows suit as they just look to disengage, as there is a TP coming through. Doman is looking to re-engage in this fight. He will join Slonyu in this mid lane, as Yoon very, very low, but the Poppy is here. No dash available, but will deny the dash is. As 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 and 4, all 4 curtain calls land, but here comes Brand. Pyroclasm not available, not able to claim that ping pong damage, not able to ricochet those shots. But speaking of shots, Pingun's damage is huge. That Infernal Drake cannot be underestimated. The mountain might be in your favor for one of them, but you've still got to deal with the penetration of this Jhin, and by all means, he's looking for every crack in armor they can find. As the gold lead has come to 2k. 3 kills separates these two teams. A single turret and a grub. Of course, the Atacant did go in favor of TFG, and that Baron is still standing. And as we look at items, we can see 3 items for most of the members of this game. Some members still on 2, some even on 4. We see Swag on the Kha'Zix there with the edge of Knights Erilda's Grudge, Yumu's End Opportunity. Malphite with the Hunting Despairers. Kendrick Lamar gonna be the target. Has to flash, has to ult away. As that top tier 1 will fall now. And looking back at the items, Lucian now is going to be coming into some damage as he picks up the Infinity Edge. Rapid Fire as well, allowing him to really follow up on these Braum. Winter's Bites. Get an early stun onto one of the carries, onto Yoon, onto Pingun, potentially even onto Swag if they can catch him out before he's able to use the Void Assault. And lead into potentially a Pyroclasm from the Brand. In the meantime, TFG, they're going to want to really lock down Slonyu. They haven't been able to consistently kill him in team fights, but that being said, if you kill every other member, then the Lucian is effectively useless, as he can't go anywhere near this Kha'Zix. And this Jhin is also causing problems now. 2 levels ahead. That outcome really does make the level gap obvious, as we're seeing a sort of congregation in mid lane here, looking to potentially catch out a member of TFG who oversteps. Is BEBNIAZE. And it looks to be Doman who's the one who oversteps. The Poppy goes in, Glacial Victor comes down, but there's too much damage. Does Yugan and Shorty fall down early. Swag is in the back line. The Poppy will fall down low as Trust claims that kill. Can't escape. Swag falls as well as Pingun, who is in the combinational fire of Malphite and Viego. Talia will fall as well to the Braum. Ambessa is the last alive. Public Institution will go out to connect onto the Braum, looking to try and claim any kind of consolation kill. Is Ambessa. Will be chased down. Lucian, Viego going to be the likely ones to claim this as it goes underneath the turret. And that will be an ace for the side of BEBNIAZE. Still only a 400 gold lead. The only objective up in the soon times will be this Baron, which is up within 60 seconds. But how much can they get? How much can they sort of pry of value as all of a sudden these level gaps have now dissipated? As now they're going to look to take down the jungle camps and try and close this level gap. Already the supports are now on even footing. And ADC is not far behind. That 2-level lead has dissipated. And Davidek now I think is ahead of Teal Moon. And this is cinema, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we come to see as the Baron is now available. The Drake is spawning within 60 seconds as well. So this fight here will decide who claims this soul point and who claims the Baron. As now we are looking at a fight in the midst of it all. Just hunting down whatever they can at the moment. As they are moving as 5 in mid lane. And Bessar deciding to split off as they're opting to want to go for the Drake. They want to try and win this Drake, get the soul point, and apply a nuts amount of pressure onto BEBNIAZE. Now the gold lead has stretched out to 1.5k, down from 400. Now Malphite will go in. The Unstoppable Force will not be able to connect as Talia does flash away. Curtain Call comes through, lands 1 shot, lands 2, but they are onto the tanky members of BEBNIAZE as Swag goes forward. Public Execution connect onto the Viego as he might be the first to fall. He does go down. Teal Moon claims the kill as here comes the Weaver's Wall. In comes Lucian as he takes down Ambessa. Poppy will fall as well. And now it is 2 for 1. The support and top laner of TFG have fallen. And Kha'Zix might be alive, but so is Brand, and this looks like it might be soul point unless there is a miracle that Swag can pull. Drake is claimed. We do see Yoon on this top side does manage to push the wave in into that mid tier 2. Gonna try and back away now as the Baron is the option that BEBNIAZE are going to look to try and take. Baron has been started up, and Talia will TP in just below. This Baron is falling fast, but Swag is just behind. 4k HP. They have paused it for the time being, not letting him get in, but here he comes. He's not going to be able to land the smite as Brand claims the pick, but Lucian has fallen. Slenyu has fallen. Kha'Zix does fall to the Brand, but now he is next in line. He looks like cannon fodder as Ambessa now trading with the Viego. As that was a very scrappy fight. While the Baron does go into the hands of BEBNIAZE, it does feel like you can call that a very small win for TFG as they do take the mid tier 2. Poppy now is going to be the target of the Spectral Maw. The Blade of the Ruin King, he is here as he looks to prime the stun. Will he try and go in? He will. Does not manage to land the Spectral Maw as the Poppy looks to just try and run away. Talia's damage is incredible at this point as we look at the items, as there is going to be a pause as it seems that Swag has disconnected.
A summoner has disconnected.
The pause did come through and the pause has now ended. Swag has come back in. Now picking up that Void Staff. Yoon looking to just be as much of a penetrative force as possible. We were talking about the items being picked up towards Talia, and she will be the damage. The gold now 100 gold in favor of TFG. Not really any kind of objectives up and available in the near future. The next thing we're going to be wanting to highlight is that Drake. It is Soul Point currently for BEBNIAZE. A collection of this Drake would make it Soul Point for TFG, but Jin and Poppy the targets of some well-needed attention as the Jin damage going to be one of the most critical things in these fights. The Lucian, the Brand, the Viego, all likely to get popped. Now, the Jin does need to be able to fire that 4-shot away, so if you can stop him from doing that, that's going to be your ticket out of it. But Swagger's going to get caught out in the topside jungle here. Going to be killed by the Glacial Fissure. Does connect, is getting knocked up as Viego flashes over the wall. Swag will fall early on in the fighters. It's now a 4v5. It make that 3 as Yoon does fall 60 seconds for a death timer as Viego tries to make his way forward as Pingun does move forward. Ugandan Shorty looks like they might fall early on. Slonyu does claim the kill, but the unstoppable force does come through and it does spell death for Teal Moon. 4 down, Pingun remains, and he just has to try and clear this wave away. He has to back away. The curtain call not able to be used to its full potential. This looks dreadful. Drake still not coming up anytime soon. And that Braum is reducing so much. Having to flash away just at this moment, trying to stall out this blue side defense, really. But Viego sees the Spectral Maw connects, and it looks like it's lights out for Pingun. Now Swag is alive, able to potentially pick off something. Does have the Void Assault, does have, you know, the eyes on the Malphite. Is he going to be able to go all in here? But Talia's with him. Swag and Yoon looking to take down this Malphite as soon as possible. Unstoppable Force used once more as Davidek just barely escapes. Now the Viego is back involved. The flash forward from Yoon looks to try and claim the kill. Will be able to claim it as Slonyu does fall as well. The carries are dead. It's just Brand remaining in terms of damage for this red side. BEBNIAZE now in a spot of trouble. Now while Pingun is still down, he will spawn just as the Drake is still 45 seconds. Without your mid laner, without your AD carry, you have no AD damage on the side of BEBNIAZE, as we will see this Drake fall safely into the hands of TFG. And this game is shaping up fantastically as a first round. Things to note possibly going into game 2 of this is, well, for starters, keep an eye on top lane, as this Malphite has been a massive issue for TFG to be able to deal with. Obviously, now the items have come through, he is a little bit less significant, but unlucky with the soul, I believe. It's a mountain soul with a Malphite. You can't really get much better luck than that, and you know, I feel like the only kind of adaptations you can really make if you're the side of TFG in this is potentially trying to get Yoon ahead earlier. But, you know, in this game, all it's really been is they've been caught out in fights where, you know, there are objectives coming up, there's stuff going on, they're trying to, you know, secure vision, and they've just not been fast enough of getting back out, as now GAs are starting to come through. Kendrick Lamar the first to pick one up, as we'd expect the Lucian to potentially pick one up as well. There it is, as most people now coming in to their full builds. And Bessa slightly behind with that sigil, most likely going into the Guardian. Most likely going into the Guardian's Angel herself. Talia is now also full build, and Jin very, very close, you have to say, as Mobalytics, thank you for interrupting. But There is an opportunity. The Baron is alive. Only 66 kills. What will be the 67th? This is definitely a scrappy game. Available. Every single ult is on cooldown. There are some summoner spells which might need some time. Talia and Jhin, both without their flash, but Brand, Malphite, and Viego, along with Lucian and Braum, there are no flashes on the side of BEBNIAZE. As Unstoppable Force comes through, connects onto Swag as they go in, but blue team will steal the Baron, and it's Ambessa who claims it. Not able to get in the way. Brand is knocked around. The public execution is what claims it. As now you can only see this going one way. The Baron. Are TFG going to be this unstoppable object? And can BEBNIAZE be this rock, basically, that this Malphite has been all game? Can what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force? What will happen? 4-shot does land onto Trusk. We see the inhibitor fall. And if the Viego goes down here, you can expect this to be game over. Does manage to claim the kill onto Swag, though. This could be potentially a turnaround. The Braum is locked up. The Braum is popped as Jhin has his 4-shot, rearing and aiming it. Does not confirm the kill. Lucian will take down the Jhin, but this is all seeming like GG from here. And will TFG be able to take game 1? It seems that way, as there are 3 Barons available. They can't seem to make up their mind on what they want to be able to do, but the Baron buff is helping them be able to back off sooner, but the TP comes through from Tilmoon, but Malphite engages Duvidek. Looking to try and get as much, whatever he can. The Unstoppable Force does connect, but he does not have the damage as he's pushed back by Talia. As the Nexus is open. And that will be GG for game 1.